This is actually my last trip of all time because I graduated this year. And overall, it was just a great experience. I'm so happy I went. Couldn't ask for a better group of people to go up with, having a great time. I just got to put this out here. I'd never flown before, so I didn't know what to expect. And let's just say it was pretty crazy. Like, I remember we were landing in Seattle. And I see we're landing. We're close to that runway, and we're still going. I think we're going at max speed. I was like, I'm not even going to get to enjoy the mission trip. This is it. No, but we landed safe. Yeah, I saw God moving in our lives like so well like throughout the whole week. If you ask Andrew or know anything about me, I like asking questions. And I'll ask pretty complicated questions, and Andrew can answer them all. But it was funny, my group of kids were the same way where they were asking me all the questions this time. And I felt God through me, and I was able to answer all those questions with confidence. It was just so nice being able to teach subjects that I was pretty confident in. Like my two subjects that I was teaching were outdoor survival and automotive maintenance. So I'm pretty decent at both of those, at least I think so. It was also really well as a group because I feel like we all grew really well together. We created a pretty decent bond together with all the stuff we did, hiking, ministering. I just think that some of my favorite moments, you can probably see up here, we went hiking a lot. Me and a couple of other guys, we went hiking a little too far. You can ask Andrew about that. We got to touch a glacier, all that, whatnot, drink water straight out of the glacier. But there was just so many fun times. Going to swim. Oh, now that I'm up here, I'm blanking on it. But yeah, it was just overall a really great time, and I'm so thankful that I could go with this amazing group of people. And I thank the leaders for everything they did with this missions trip to make it all happen.
So my name's Brody. So we were given 3 questions. So the first one was, how did God work through your heart? And I kind of read that, and I kind of took it a different way. So I'm not a very physical person. I don't like when people get close to me. I'm not very hands-on. And I got paired with a group of 5, 6, and 7-year-old boys. And there was one boy in particular, his name was Liam. You'll probably see him sitting on my lap in a few of these. He would not go away. He was... Yeah, of course. But no, he was a really good kid, but it was just like God was really pushing me to kind of be more open, like not only like in a being more open to like the kids and being kind to them, but also just physically like being closer to them, because it was, you can ask Andrew, I'm not big on hugs for sure, and I got more than 2 dozen from Liam alone in 1 week. So that'd probably be the first question. The second one is the team, how we worked, how God grew with us in the team. And for that, I would say you could just tell as we went through the week, like we just kind of kept getting closer. Like the first couple of days, we were in rotations. So you have like the person leading the kids around and then the kids leading the stations. And it was kind of very like, I'm not sure what the word is, like blocky kind of, like you knew you were supposed to be here, and it just kind of, it didn't flow. It was very much, here's where you had to be, get there, done. As the week went on, you found that like us as a team, we kind of just got better at like moving around, working with each other, but the kids also got a lot better at just actually sitting down. They listened, they wanted to be there. You know, it became points where sometimes it was hard to get them to leave the station to go to the next, which was pretty cool to see. As for the final part, my favorite part, while some people did not like it, when we had our plane flight canceled, and I was one of the people that stayed behind, I think getting to spend the night in the church, all of us kids got together, and we just kind of went over everything that happened that week. The good, the bad, the ugly, what have you. It was really cool to see. So it was just kind of reflect on everything we'd done, because the week was a whirlwind. You couldn't catch everything that happened. So to kind of like talk about it, and they said like things that I missed completely. It was just cool to like kind of reflect on everything we'd done that past week. So yeah, that'd probably be my favorite part.
I think God impacted me on this trip a lot with like my nerves and patience, because before we went, I had a nervous breakdown, and when we were trying to leave, I had a nervous breakdown. It was just, he just kind of like calmed me down throughout the week with it, and just also patience with a lot of the kids, because sometimes they just didn't want to listen. They wanted to do their own thing. They said some crazy stuff to us I was a little concerned about, but it's okay. For the group, I think that I saw like people who don't usually talk to each other in the youth group talking with each other, and so did I. I got to talk to people that I usually never talk to at youth group, and it was just a nice experience to like get to know them and like see a different side of them. And then I think my favorite part was definitely when we did silent volleyball, and every time someone spoke, mainly Addie, we were sent into a tower for like 2 minutes, and the math didn't make sense either, but that was my experience with it. I did not enjoy running through Seattle, though. I couldn't breathe by the end of it, so.
The way that God worked in my life, there was kind of two ways. First, I was put with the 5 to 7-year-old girls who are also very affectionate, like Brody was saying. But for me, it was a little bit harder because I have 2 kids, one being 5 and one being 2 almost. So for me, I was just constantly with kids my kids' age, and so it was a little hard just to like be around someone else's kid, but it was just amazing to be able to show them God's love and just really surround them. We had 2 kids that came Wednesday that had just moved to Delta Junction, Alaska from Texas on Tuesday. So they arrived Tuesday night, and Wednesday morning, Mom and Dad were like, "You're going to camp with your cousins," because their cousins lived there. And the one little boy did not take it very well, and his response was anger. And the little girl's response was just crying the whole day. So I was just able to love on her and be there for her. And so I experienced the other side of like drop-off. Parent drop-off is sometimes fun when your kid starts screaming and doesn't want to leave you, and you just have to walk away anyway. And I was the one then taking them from their parents and calming them down and getting just to sit with them. And so just to be able to be on that other side of it and just really show them God's love just really calmed my heart and just gave me a different perspective. And by the end of the week, the little girl was having fun and made some friends, and we were on the playground, and there's a picture of me and her, I think towards the end, where she's just smiling really big. And she was like, "I'm going to have so much fun here. I'm going to make so many friends." And it was just awesome to see that, just because she was just so attached to her brother, and she definitely did not want to be there, which, I mean, granted, moved from Texas on Tuesday. I wouldn't have wanted to be there either. So it was just really cool to just see how much she changed just in the 3 short days of being there. And then they actually had like a family camp thing on Sunday at a park, and I saw that she posted pictures and she was there and she was smiling and having so much fun. So that was just really awesome to see. And then how God worked through the team. I was a part of a group that we had the honor of after camp. One of our work projects was clearing out a room that was full of the pastor's things, which, if you think about it, they had moved, I think they were there for like 3 years. They had their house built in like 1.5 years in, so they had been in their house for about a year, but most of that time it was fully dark, fully cold, so they weren't able to move all of their stuff. So it was just all of their extra stuff that they didn't really need. So we actually moved all of their stuff out of it into the truck, moved it across to the other side of their property into storage, and then we ripped up the floors, and then we ripped up the floors under those floors. And there's a picture of basically the subfloor, and basically what had happened is the foundation wasn't level. And so we were just ripping everything up so they could re-level it and then eventually be able to use it as a 1-bedroom studio apartment for a youth pastor eventually. And some of the kids were not super happy about doing that. I don't know why. It was cleaning, manual labor. I had so much fun. There's a cool picture of something that the kids found under there that might not be alive anymore that Alex was holding. But I just really saw it as an opportunity of just making something new for them. This is something that would have taken them months, if not the whole year, to empty out and rip up, and we were able to do it in literally 2 days. And it was just awesome, just as a kind of a metaphor of just God taking all of the things that you don't need out of your life, ripping up the floors, redoing the foundation, and just starting new. And it was just really cool to see them all work together. Alex and I were there for safety to make sure they were wearing proper shoes, wearing a mask, wearing gloves. But really, the kids did all of the work themselves. They figured out how to get the floorboards out. They figured out which way they wanted to do it. Alex came around with the circular saw, but other than that, it was all them, and we just kind of helped them. So it was really awesome just to see them work together as a team to get the job done. And then my favorite memory would probably be, and you'll probably hear this again, there was a day that there was supposed to be a group upstairs in the sanctuary to have a meeting. And so we had just finished working, and there was only one shower. It was in the basement next to the kitchen. And so we were all taking turns showering and getting dressed, and we were going to go get ice cream because we were trying to be quiet and be respectful because all these people were supposed to be upstairs. Well, it got to the point where someone was like asking to go get something from upstairs, and they turned the doorknob, and it didn't turn. And they were like, oh, well, there was another entrance that, you could go out the back. So then we went to that one, and that one didn't quite turn either. And we found out that we were locked in the basement, and the locks were on the outside. So where the key would go was actually on the other side of the room that we were in. So there's a video that we kind of sweep around in this, I think, and Andrew's at the door with a flashlight trying to get out with a knife, which clearly didn't work. Eventually we messaged the pastors, and their daughter came and let us out, and they were like, I think this is the first time that's ever happened. And I'm like, I'm not even surprised. But the fact of the matter is we were probably down there for an hour, if not two, totally locked in there and had no idea, just enjoying each other's company. But Ariane made a great declaration, trying to tell the people upstairs. And the best part is they never came. We were down in the basement for no reason, trying to be quiet, and locked ourselves in.
I'm not sure if parenting's not a big thing up there, but they're kind of wild. They're really, real wild. Yeah, it's just some of those kids, they just, got on your nerves, and it's hard to not kind of freak out on them. But, God really put it on my heart to be patient with them, and especially with Brody's kid, Liam. He said some crazy things. We were playing, I threw a ball at him, and he's like, oh, who threw that ball at me? And I did. He's like, you know what, I'm going to rip your lungs out. And I told him that was not okay. So good to be patient with those. And plus, I was helping Alex with the 5, 6, 7-year-olds, and they're also kind of wild. So patience was definitely the biggest thing that I did, or God did for me. I saw God moving through the team, especially with Brody and Cooper. Brody and Cooper, they don't really like kids, but Brody shared. He was great with Liam and the rest of the little kids, and Cooper, who's not with us, he's alive. Payson, he's not here though. He took a liking to some of the kids. It was really cool seeing them interact outside of their comfort zone. And my favorite part was, I probably have two. The first day, we had this kid, Isael, and we were playing Duck, Duck, Goose to introduce, just get to know each other. And he really likes trains, a lot. And he's like, you know what, guys, I'm going to do my own version. This is a 5-year-old. And so instead of, there was a duck, there was a tender locomotive. And instead of a goose, it was a normal locomotive. So it'd go around, he'd go, tender locomotive, and he said it like that, tender locomotive, and then locomotive, and then he ran away. So I would like that. Really fun kid. We only had him for 2 days, but the time we had with him was great. And then my second one was probably when we were at the church, after the flight was delayed, getting to talk to the guys and Peyton that I was with and playing. We got poker chips. We were playing blackjack and poker. So that was fun.
My name is Vienna. God really worked in my heart this week, or that week, with just giving me the courage to be able to teach the kids, because that's definitely out of my comfort zone. And then God really worked through our team, I feel like, just giving us patience, because the kids were, a little crazy. And then my favorite part of the week was seeing the girls in my group come together in one of our stations, playing the piano and singing together, worship songs. So, that was really cool.
My name is Landon. I was also in Alaska with everybody, but so I felt as God worked through my heart through the whole trip. I was with the oldest level of kids. They were about 13 of the boy level. And as God worked through my heart, firstly, I know everybody said it before, but patience kind of. The first 2 days, I was teaching them these things, and they kind of just sat there and was act like I speak in a different language, and then I was, finally, as we moved on throughout the week, they finally started to listen, but then all that stuff. But then after not just that, it was just like also how we got, I know, again, everybody said before, but getting stuck in Alaska, I was part of that group. I feel like just through that whole thing, I was by the end of the week, I was ready to go home, and I was just hit with that news. I'm like, oh my gosh. It's like, God is really like testing me there right there. But I'm like, at this point, I really have nothing else but to just like let everything go and just give all faith to God, because I could really not do anything else in that moment. So I would say that's how God worked through my heart. And then through our group, I said that I feel like we all came together as one. As we taught all these kids, we all had that same mission, just to push Jesus on these kids just so they can hear and know about God. And I feel like separate groups in the overall thing, like me and Owen, I really never talked to Owen before this at all, and now I feel like we're good buds, and I feel like other parts of the groups, they talk together, so I thought that was cool. And then my favorite part, actually, this is like favorite and not favorite kind of. So in the first, I don't know if it was the first day, but I think it was Sunday night, we were all given our like topics to choose about. Like he was talking about, he had like survivalists and stuff. So Andrew's walking around with these packets, handing them all out. He goes, Cameron, he's like, here's archery. Oh, and here's survivalists. I'm like, oh, what am I gonna get? I'm so excited. And he gives back to me, apologetics. I'm like, what? I'm like, come on now. Like, they get all these fun things, but then, so it's like, but I was kind of like honored by it though, because he said that he felt I was the most like prepared, I guess, to like teach these to the kids, because I had the best like understanding of this. So as these kids I taught throughout the week, the first couple of days seems like they just weren't listening, like they didn't care. But at the end of the week, we had like this debate kind of, like a fake debate. I used Owen, we had Ariane and me. We just like made like, these fake questions to see if they could like defend their faith. And they were actually like referencing stuff I used earlier in the week to actually have all these things, and they like just knew how to answer these questions. And it was like really surprising. I was actually like really proud of them. So I would say that's probably my favorite part.
So I was in charge of the 5 to 6 and 7-year-olds of the boys, and it was a long week. Let's just say that. Yeah. So like Cameron said with Liam, they said some interesting things, and it was, do I say something to them about what they just said to me, or do I just let it go? And I just determined, just let it go. Don't say anything and don't bring it up again. Where I saw God moving in me was, I think, just obviously patience with the kids, but just being with them and just going through all the rotations, just getting to know them. It was always fun. And they had a Bible verse that was tied into that whole week. And so, the first 2 days, they don't want to do this Bible verse. They just want to go play. That's all they want to do. By the end of the week, I sat them down each separately, one at a time, and they said the Bible verse right through it. I didn't have to help them at all, and I don't know, it just tugged on my heart, and like I was just so happy just to see all of them learn this Bible verse and just be able to recite it perfectly to me, and not have to like, I don't have to stand there and help them do it. So that was just awesome for me to see that. Seeing how the group, God grew in our group. So I had some helpers. I had Cam, Cade, Brody. It was just nice seeing them grow as well, with not just each other, but also with the kids, and not like hesitating to jump in and do stuff with the kids or talk to them, and just, grow together with each other, but also with these kids that they've never met before. They're here for a week, and then they're just going home. It was just great seeing all the connections that they were making. Favorite moments, I mean, there's a lot of them. Since I was in charge of the kids, my favorite moments were with Brody, because, as he said, he doesn't like to get touched. I would literally sick the kids on him. I was like, all right, it's time to go hug Mr. Brody. And they would all dog pile on him, and he's laying there, curled in a ball, while these kids are just on top of him. I probably did it 2 or 3 times. And as you know, I got stuck in Alaska that extra day. So me being who I am, I don't really get stressed out at all. When I made that phone call back to my mom, letting her know, like, hey, we're stuck in Alaska, I don't cry, I don't break down. I was on the phone and I was on the verge of tears, because like I didn't know what to do. This is all new. I was getting stressed out, and I was like, you need to talk to me, because I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. And my mother, she is very emotional. So she's trying not to cry, because if she starts crying on the phone, then I'm gonna start crying in this airport. I mean, it all worked out. We got home safe and sound. Whatever they tell you about poker, I don't know.